have three pillars that guide us with respect to responsible investing. The first is that we fully integrate ESG analysis into our investment process. Each of our investment teams has a unique investment process, but over the last several years, we've built into each of those processes analytics that fit well within them, but produce the kind of information that we require to gauge the risks and opportunities in both financial and non-financial or ESG type factors. In fact, each team now has a designated ESG champion because this is such a fast-moving space. We want to make sure that even though we're doing it and we have a good system in place, that we're constantly on top of best practices as these evolve, and that the analysis that we're doing is really fit for purpose and producing the type of information that we require. Now, the second pillar is, and this I think is very important, is that we absolutely believe in active stewardship of all of our investee positions. This is important. It goes through proxy voting. It goes through active engagement with the board members and with the management of firms that we invest in. It also goes through discussions and submissions to regulators as we try to help shape the investing environment in Canada and beyond to recognize ESG factors. So let's say the third pillar, though, is we have with all of our solution set. We try to build solutions that are attractive to our clients, and that's obviously the case with integrating ESG. But with ESG, we also want to provide data in the detail that's required, and so that investors can understand whether their goals for ESG are being met by our ESG practice. Now, we truly believe that this focus on ESG, which we've had for many, many years, has not only helped manage risks in our portfolios, but has added to returns over time because of sustainability and durability of the firms we invest in.
Our approach to ESG integration is to systematically incorporate material, environmental, social, and governance factors into the investment process. So as a result, our ESG integration approach has remained the same throughout the pandemic, and it's proven to be resilient throughout the pandemic as well. Now, there are certainly changes that have been made to how we actually implement some of our ESG integration activities. For instance, our investment teams regularly engage with investee company boards and management on material ESG issues, often in person. And being unable to travel, we've had to shift many of those activities online. What I would say is that some of the ESG factors that our investment teams have been focusing on have shifted in focus as some factors have become more material as a result of the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Investors have had to look at ESG factors more closely, in particular, some factors that would fall under the social or governance categories. So on social, if you look at things like health and safety, investors have been asking of companies, what are companies doing to safeguard the well-being of their employees, of customers, and the communities that they operate in, and what resources are being allocated towards that cause. On the social side as well, you can look at things like supply chain management and supply chain risk. Supply chains are very intricate logistical systems that have been severely stressed by the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. So companies have had to look at their supply chain management systems and reevaluate their supply chain risks in the context of the pandemic. Switching to the governance side, with so many employees now working in remote working environments and operations shifting online, investors are asking questions of companies of what is being done to protect sensitive data, client information, and company data. So cybersecurity and data privacy have become very pressing issues for investors. And a very direct impact on the governance side has come in the form of proxy voting. In the normal course of operations, companies hold in-person shareholder meetings, but they've had to shift these meetings to a virtual-only meeting format, understandably so. But that has led shareholders to question of companies, what is being done under this virtual-only meeting format to maintain and protect my shareholder rights at the same time? And ESG factors are rarely acting in isolation. They can impact one another. And that's why it's very important to look at ESG factors holistically.
This year, we took more formal steps to integrate climate change into our investment process by releasing our climate change strategy called our Approach to Climate Change. So climate change is and continues to be a pressing issue that has the potential to impact the global economy, markets, and society. So climate change will pose risks and opportunities for all sectors and all geographies, although in different ways. So when we look at climate change, we consider the impact of the transition to a low carbon economy, which will primarily impact carbon intensive sectors, such as the energy sector. In 2019, we assessed the financial impact of flooding on our commercial mortgage portfolio and evaluated how that might change under different future climate scenarios. In 2020, we're also conducting climate scenario analysis to look at how climate policies such as carbon pricing or clean technology opportunities and physical risks may impact a company, a sector, or an investment portfolio's value at risk.